Oh, the hell with it. Let's go live. We're gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna do it early. I planned on being in here later, but we might as well get this thing going today. How y'all doing today? You are blessed to be in the den with Aaron EBM live. I appreciate you being here. Turn that off. I appreciate you being in here with me today. So let's get this thing started. Look, it's been a lot of stuff going on in the manosphere, the black manosphere at that. And it's got me thinking, man. It's got me thinking. Does the manosphere need a hero? I don't know, but it sure looks like it. Let's get it. What's good, YouTube? What's going on? Good evening and good evening. Welcome to the den. Welcome to the den. Let's get the cam going tonight. Let's get the cam going tonight. I don't do enough of the cam. So how you doing? How you doing? I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you are able to sit down and be in the presence of greatness, be in the presence and witness greatness and witness it at its best. How y'all doing tonight, man? How y'all doing? I just decided to stop by and give a live performance, a live check-in to see how y'all are doing. And I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty good. This, like I said, this is not my full-time job. So every time I'm in here, I'm putting in overtime for your entertainment and well-being. So why did I play that song? We're going to get into it in a minute. Why did I play that song? I'm holding out for a hero. I am holding out for a hero. That is interesting, and that in itself seems to sum up what I see that is going on in Black YouTube and the Manosphere and the Black Manosphere. If you want to drill down into it, looking for a hero. So as I was looking around, because I like to stay in the clouds. I like to stay in my own business, kind of soak up information, learn, because that we're missing a lot of people wanting to learn now. So that's what I decided to do. I want to learn. So as I begin to look around and stay in the clouds, I seen a lot of weirdness. I seen a lot of craziness, and it is surrounded in most part by Kevin Samuels, you know, and his either lack of holding to his talking points or in general in the hypocrisy. I've been hearing and seeing a lot of people wanting to hold him to the standard that he has set himself with the manosphere talking points and all this and all of that. And if you've been around, you should see as well. So I shouldn't have to go back and rehash that. If you haven't, go looking around. If you're new to the space, if you're new to this side of YouTube, then I suggest you look around. For me, what introduced me to this sector of YouTube, I believe, if I want to do it right on the timeline, it was O'Shea Duke Jackson, and then it was to mediocre tutorials and reviews, and then it went to the Poor Man podcast, and then I would get from there. I would just be in the algorithm, and the algorithm would shoot different people by me. Some I did know, some I didn't know, like Obsidian and Ed Anderson. Shout out to all of them. Those guys are doing fantastic, and I like to learn. Anybody that wants to learn, they should stop by and not want to emulate these people, but really stop by and soak up some of the game and some of the things they have that you can learn, and then you can morph it into what you want to morph it to. Let's move this camera around. So it's good to really stop by and see these people. But just like everybody else, I was introduced to Kevin Samuels, and it's great. I had a great time. I had a real good time looking and seeing Kevin Samuels. Why? Because just like a lot of other people that are in this space, or are in this sector, that you realize that men, especially black men, do not have a voice in today's society. So it's good to see a man and a black man that looks like me and represents the culture in the space, and go outside the box. Because if you are in search of this space, or you have been in search of anything like this, you would know or want or understand that we were looking for the main, I would say, the main what's the word for it? The main complaint that we have in this society is that we are all painted with broad strokes and one brush. And when you see a brother come in out of nowhere, represent a different side of masculinity, is good. I too like cologne and watches. I'm not as sharp as Kevin Samuels or dapper as Kevin Samuels, but I do and always have indulged in the cologne. So when I see him exhibit and show me more, or show me more things that I can learn about these things, it's good. It's good. And shout out to the Styles OG as well. But if you frequent his channel, it changed. I didn't get to catch Kevin Samuels in the whole style and image bit, but that's what it was. It went from style and image to what he's doing today. Pretty much, giving women, or delusional women, the boot. The boot of reality, and give them women they gave him he gave them the boot of reality, which we all applauded to. And you fast forward into today, where you see him interacting with famous people. You got Nicki Minaj was the big one. We'll circle back to Nicki Minaj. Then you have Future, which he's doing videos with, in which a lot of people are saying, to talk about the quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray, to then go out and do business with him, was sort of hypocritical. Which, if you really listen and you really pay attention and was not hypnotized by Kevin Samuels, you'll know that Kevin Samuels is a businessman. You know that you cannot say, or if or think that you would believe that he would not work with a person like that if it was going to benefit him. Take a drink. So then you fast forward to now. You have an uproar. You have people saying that he's still in the talking points. He's not standing up for what we believe in, what he said he believed in, and now it's to a point to where the message is watered down. And it's not good. It's not good for business. It's not good for the sector. And he's selling out, and he's going mainstream, and all of this and all of that. What up, Bells G? How you doing? I'm glad you support. Appreciate you, Bells G. Thank you for coming into the den. You are always welcome. You are always welcome to come by. And if you would like, I would actually put up. Let me see. I would actually put up the link for you as soon as I see it. There is the link, just in case anybody want to come up. This is free. This is a space and a place to where I try to, think outside the box and go outside the box and do things different than a lot of the other people that are in the space. It is good. Like I said, it is good to learn. It is good to be a part and to grow and actually make these contacts. But you really have to carve out your own niche, be your own person, and do your own thing. Let's talk. You have to develop a niche if you want to be successful at YouTube. Period. I know it's easy to get stuck in these in this gossip and going from panel to panel and getting your point across and all that good stuff. That's cool. But if you want to be successful, you guys remember you have to have a niche. What niche? Whether it's tech, whether it's cars, whatever style. If you like style, I'm thinking about even getting into my own little cologne sector. You got to do what you got to do to carve out your own niche. Being in these gossip sectors, it's good to get your name known, but you really have to carve out your own niche. But let's go back to Kevin Samuels. After all the things he said, and things he did in the past few weeks, people are saying he's been hypocritical. And some, I could say the same thing. We have actually have conversations here that, we can really point out some of the things where he's been hypocritical. I understand that. And if you are, that's one reason I don't do the whole bandwagon thing. That's one reason I don't do the whole bandwagon thing, and I won't do the bandwagon thing, because a person will end up letting you down, and either you're going to have to stand on your square and support that person, or you're going to have to admit that the person that you are fighting for or on a bandwagon with failed. So I don't want to have to be that person unless we are really close or we do business together. I'm not doing the whole bandwagon thing. Bells G, I see you in the back. I'm about to let you up. Bells G in the building. How you doing, Bells G? What we got? What you got?
Hey, how are you tonight?
Don't start no mess. How you doing?
I never start anything.
Oh, I know.
I'm good.
You've been around. I see you. I'm everywhere too.
I mind my business. I poke my head in every now and again, and then I mosey back on to my corner.
Well, that's good. That's not a bad thing. You have to do that. If you are involved in this in these YouTube clicks, you got to watch yourself. You got to really. It's fun to play around, but you got to watch yourself, or you'll end up in some stuff you really don't want to even be in. So that's what I decided to do.
Oh, absolutely. I did not realize that um, YouTube be really for the streets. Like how it's so political and um, how just like people really be like getting into it and stuff and feeling um certain kind of ways and stuff, and I'm like, y'all will never meet. Like, is it that deep? Is it that serious? Like, do people really get that mad? And it's just weird to me, I don't know, to um see it play out like in real time on YouTube, because like I know I am a big um fan of mukbangs, and I've heard, other people on their mukbang channel, talk about drama between this mukbanger, this other mukbanger, and I used to be like, wow, people be beefing off of food.
Peace
Like, is
nicer.
that
Peace nicer.
like, does it really be that deep? And now over here in the manosphere, um, you know, I do not consider myself a part of the manosphere. I consider myself, um, I guess more so like a spectator. Um, but to see, all these people not liking each other, for various reasons, or just no reason at all, it's just kind of weird. And I've never experienced anything like this before or saw anything like this before. So, like I said in the beginning, I poke my head in, occasionally, and then I tip my hat and dip back out. So,
Yeah, and that's something I don't think a lot of people understand, especially the content creators themselves. That a lot of these people aren't really content creators. Some of these people are just like they are in the real world, messy, and they come here and really get to get out what they can't get out in the real world. So that's something people need
mm,
to, that they start a lot of problems. If you go watch a lot of some of the other people's streams, you watch a lot of the
mm-hmm,
conflict and the strife that happens. Most of the time, it happens in the comment section, and they believe that people in the comment section are affiliated with the people that are saying the message, and a lot of the times they're not. But
mm,
Kevin, the issue that I'm finding here, that I believe anyway, that I believe that is going on with Kevin, is the same issue that we have in the United States, and as well as the subsets of communities. We have what you call the hero or the savior complex. That's the hero or the savior complex. If you don't know what the hero or the savior complex is, it is a complex that when a person, or when a society or a group of people have issues or have things they want to get done, A lot of the times they're too afraid or too scared or too cowardly to pick up the torch and handle things themselves. So they decide to latch on to someone that is in power, someone that is usually a good speaker, someone that is usually flamboyant, and they begin to latch on to them because if they decide to take up the mantle, if they decide to take up the torch, they're going to have to take the bullets, and nobody wants to take the bullets. So what they do is they latch on and push a person that they like and push a person into the limelight that they like. So if they hit take so they can take the bullets, or when they make a mistake, they can criticize them. It's a safe place. It's a safe place. And people don't realize, if you pay attention through all this stuff, through all the strife that's been going on through the manosphere regarding someone being mainstream or being the head or the mouthpiece of the manosphere, you got to go back and remember what Kevin Samuel said. He said, right now I'm all you got. And if you want something better, you got to stand up and do it and do it yourself. everybody
Mm,
everybody walked around, everybody cruised and went around, and that went over everybody's head, and they didn't take heed to what he said, but I did. I said, we sit here and complain about not liking the person that's in the spotlight, but we won't sit here and work to put ourselves in the spotlight. We won't pick up the mantles. We won't make ourselves, the guinea pig or the martyr to make the things better or to advance the space if you're in that part. Because I've never been inducted into the manosphere. I shout out to Ed Anderson again. I asked Ed Anderson, what is the cost, or what is the cost, or what is the criteria for entry into the manosphere? What is it? And he said, you have to know what you're talking about. And I believe that is a problem. There needs to be more. There needs to be warriors. There needs to be there has to be intellectuals. There have to be different people in different spots to do these jobs if they want the space to grow. But as an individual, you got to be brave enough to sit down and say, well, look, I'm going to take these little bit of money that I have. If I don't have a lot of money, I'm going to invest in myself, invest in a dream I have. Remember, I said that you have to have a niche. If I like art, I'm going to put that art out and then get together sometime in leisure time in this space to learn different things. But people don't want to do that. They want to sit here and talk about and complain about Kevin or anybody else that is in the spotlight, but never have the balls to
oh
do it
no.
themselves. So what you got?
Um, I guess like if I had a question, it would be um when you said you asked Ed Anderson a question about what does it cost? What is the entry fee um to become a part of the manosphere or to get into the manosphere? And he said you have to know what you're talking about. Like I feel like that's such a gray area. Um and that translates to me that even he doesn't know the the cost because I can say, XYZ and it makes a great point and then you can combat that and your point is a great point as well. Um but they're on two different ends of the spectrum. So does that mean we both gain an entry into the manosphere or does he mean um like echo chamber? Know what I'm talking about. Like know what you're talking about. Like we have to agree on all the points and all the variables.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that I look at when I have sat back and looked into the manosphere from the outside in. Where's the standard? The Saint and the Sinner came out a few weeks ago, and I think I covered that about what he was talking about as far as when going head to head with in the debate with him. He asked, what is the standard? What is the standard? I think he didn't ask what the standard of the manosphere was, or what is the creed of the manosphere, but I believe he was on the topic of red pill. But one could say, what is the standard, or what is the creed of the black manosphere? And nobody has it. And nobody has it. Nobody, and it's not a structure, and I'm gonna keep saying that it's not a structure. There needs to be a structure. And I said, how our people are, when somebody decides to say, hey, I'm going to do it, I'm going to be the one to pave the way, then all of a sudden they're not good enough. And what's going to happen. It's just a point in time when that person says, look, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna be the one to say, hey, I'm going to write this creed, I'm going to write the Declaration of Black Independence of the manosphere, write this thing out, and then do it. We can follow it and agree upon it. It's going to be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that hero complex comes in, because we're so busy arguing with each other about who's going to be the head, or who's going to be the one at the the mountaintop, speaking for everybody, that we don't pay attention to what we're doing. We don't pay attention to what's going on. We're so busy looking at that person, or when we finally find a person that talks just right or gives us what we need, you know, there's stuff left open, and there's room for that person to do things that we don't like. Look, Martin Luther King did the same thing. Everybody exalted Martin Luther King. I'm not saying he's bad, but look what happened. He cheated on his wife and showed that he was a man just like anybody else. So does that make him, no, not worthy? A lot of people didn't think so. That's why a lot of, if you go into the documentation, that's what the CIA was doing, threatening to lay all his information, his dirty laundry bare, so people would lose faith or credit in him. And that's the thing. We shouldn't sit back and exalt somebody to the point of, greatness, and then let that person be everything to our community. Whether you can put it towards, this sphere or any other organization, to where all they have to do is discredit them or take them out for our whole operation to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
And look at it. Pay attention everywhere you go. Everybody's either arguing or talking about separation, or what's the deal. People don't understand. The whole Pookie and Ray thing came all the way back around
Oh
full
my
circle.
goodness.
I wasn't here for the first one, but it came all the way up, around full circle, back to the Pookie and
Mm-hmm.
Ray debate. And
Mm-hmm.
when most of us lie somewhere in the middle, nobody's Pookie, and Ray, and nobody's the super educated lame with all the book smarts and all the money. Most of us do not lie on both fringe ends. Most of us lie somewhere teetering to one side or another in the middle. And we don't realize the power that we can have if we were together and we had that togetherness, whether you were on the side of being more rough, or you were on the side of being more dapper or more clean, knowing that if we had a united front, there would be nobody to come into our space and disrupt it. But right now, you have any woman come into the space that looks decent, slide in, wedge in, and then can create total dismay within the space. It's because we're not united. And our life
Mm-hmm.
imitates art, and the same thing that's going on out here in the world is the same thing that's going on in here in the Black Manosphere. We're not united, and we need to be united if we want, outside of being mainstream and outside of going Hollywood. If you want the community and the space to grow, you're going to have to learn how to branch together and say, like I said, become superpowers to the point to where nobody will be able to come in. You look, yeah, those my brothers over here, one side over here on one side, and then my brothers over here, my book brothers over here on the other side, and we're gonna come together and not let you tear the space apart. But for some reason, I don't know. Everybody's looking for the hero to come to do it, instead of looking within and knowing that everybody could have a piece of that and do their own part.
I mean, if I could say something, I I don't know if we know how um to be the type of people that you described, because there has been so much division um within our community for so long. and that a lot of people are just out for self.
You
You
remember
know, like,
the first cavemen didn't know how to make fire either.
oh, good night.
The cavemen didn't know how to make fire either, but they hit them damn rocks together and kept warm. It's going. Don't you think it's going to come a time that we have to stop saying that we don't know how to do something, and even if we have to run before we walk, learn how to do something or build it while we fly to learn. Otherwise it's going to be the same thing. We can continue to say that we don't know anything or we haven't been trained to do it and continue to let that be our excuse to never do better.
I mean, yes, I 100% agree with you. I'm just saying that like you have so many people that believe what you're saying, but they're one person. But then you have another 25 people who don't. And it's like, so what do you do against the ones, against the 25s?
That's what you do to them. You're going to have to smack them a couple times. They're gonna have to get left. Them 25 people, it might only be it might only be the 100,000. It might only be the 300 over here thriving and doing good, and the rest of them 20 them thousands of Negroes over there in the corner, they can argue and fight and eat each other alive. I mean, if I give you the keys to the mansion and you decide to sit outside and hit rocks together, that's on you.
Hmm.
How long are we going to have to we can't hold everybody up. you know I don't agree with what Dennis
Understood.
I don't agree with what Dennis Sperling said about taking out all the pookies and lining them up and kill. I don't believe that. I don't believe in that. Because who am I to say something like that?
Hmm.
But you have to be in a space or have to be in a place to where you could be able to even reach back and pull them up. And we can't do it continuing to look at them guys over there and getting mad at them for doing what they're doing because I listened, like Angry Man said the other day, a lot of the people that are in the situations they are in is not by their own choosing. I get that. I get that they're not, but they can't help where they are. And I am a firm believer that if you gave everybody a job that they could have a decent living and a decent life with, if you put those places for them to work, 90% of those people would. It'll be a handful of people that'll still want the quick money, and that'll still want to do the crazy things, the bullies, and those people, end up where they end up. But for the majority, they won't. We just have to be in a place, or they would want to help. But the majority of us have to remember that yes, the the hype and all this stuff that we get into is what it is, and the entertainment part of it is what it is. But we have to remember that everybody has something to do or something to give, even if it's for you and your immediate family. You will never be able to help anybody. You will never be able to do anything unless you're in a position to where you can be. But I don't know. I don't know. I just know that the hero complex is real, and you seeing it
Mm.
play out right now.
Well, yikes. Because from my viewpoint, it is bananas. And there are so many people trying to pull you in their direction. And it's like if you're not careful, to be able to like kind of sort through what a lot of these people are saying, it can leave your mind scrambled. And I know that I am an empath. And so I really, really have to be careful about um, all of the different materials and things that I allow into my psyche. Um, because I will be trying to sort out like every problem and figure out a solution to every problem and feel like my job isn't done until I have sorted and solved every problem. And so listening to also like I listen to a very, very, very um small amount of people in the manosphere. Because to me sometimes it can get overwhelming and overbearing, and it's like dark and gloomy. And it's just like, well, what do you want us to do? Where do you want us to go? Well, who opinion should we agree with? Because if I agree with, you know, poor man, but I hear angry man, who do I listen to? Okay, well, if I agree with angry man, then I can't agree with, um, you know, ZZ. If I can't agree with ZZ, or if I have to agree with ZZ, then you know, what about Crimson? It's so many different directions that people can go off into. And I sometimes feel like, do you think that sometime, or do you think that it's a possibility um, for some content creators to bury the hatchet, um, and pull more people together that way? Because, like I said, it's like it's a lot of division. And if there's so much division, how does the regular person know what is the right way to go?
Um,
I know
no,
I
I
always take I
I,
always take the long road. So
I
sorry.
like I like you. I believe that there is a crab in a bucket mentality about us. That we have been put in situations so long. That when we do see success or we see something that we can grab, we end up stepping and trampling all of each other on each other, trying to get to that prize ahead of the other ones. That way they can't get it and we'll have it. But we fail to
Hmm.
realize that it's enough here for everybody if you're willing to take it or if you're willing to take a position. You know, everybody won't be the chief. Everybody won't be the head. Everybody won't be. Everybody will have a part in the body.
Hmm.
The body. If you can realize that and realize everybody has a part in the body. Everybody is not a general. Some people are lieutenants and foot soldiers. There's different things and different places for people to take hold, and if we can realize what our strengths are, that's that. I'm gonna hang on to that real quick. We do Our self-esteem is so low because that hasn't been drilled in us about our gifts, the gifts that we are innately born with. We haven't been nurtured, and we haven't been nurtured to let those things bloom and blossom into something great. We haven't had that, and I'm going to pull it back again to let you guys to kind of really understand this, because a lot of people are not going to tell you this. A lot of children in our community, in the Black community, are born. They're not born with a plan. They're just born. They're it just happens. A lot of the times when kids are born in our community, they're just born out of happenstance. which means they do not have the parents do not have a vision for that child. That child does
Mhm.
not have not have a purpose, which means they just have to wander through life and hope that they find their purpose. And if you have that, you'll have a lot of people in a community that are born purposeless. And what happens? If a child is not nurtured in that aspect to know that they have a purpose, that they have a gift, and they could use that gift, what happens? You have a nation full of people with no self esteem, no outlook on life, just wandering, trying to survive. But we have to get out of that. And I know that it's hard when you're older because you feel like it's over with, but you're not. People are living older and older. Look at Kevin Sam. Kevin Samuels didn't hit his stride till he's 50. What does that mean? Everybody has a time to find what their gift is. It's not over. If you're 35, if you're 45, it's not over. You need to find that gift. Get around other people that can nurture that gift. Get around other people that are successful, that believe in the things that you might not be your gift, but they can push you in the direction to nurture that gift and for it to grow. We need more people to believe in themselves and to believe that they can be something or be somebody greater and not just be, purposeless, because you get so many people that are here with purpose, feel like they're purposeless. What happens? You know that when you get a lot of people around each other that are purposeless, what do they want to do? Misery loves company, right? So
Mhm.
as soon as you get to a point to where you start to feel yourself taking stride, what do they want to do? Pull you right back down. Well, you don't want to be there. Kevin Samuels don't need to be in the place that he needs to be at because he XYZ, he did it, but you're not doing it. If you take
Mhm.
Kevin down, are you going to take his spot and say the things that you would like him to say?
Probably
If
not.
you take another content creator down and you take his spot, are you want to do what he does? No, because you don't have the exact gifts that he has. But if you focus on the gifts that you have, focus on the things that you would. I know it's people out there that are mechanics. I know people out there that do a lot of different things that believe that they can't do what these other people are doing out here in everywhere in Hollywood, but they can be. But they use it. They're in that same mentality that they had from being purposeless into into adulthood, and it's stifling them. So that's the first thing we got to do. We got to realize what our gifts are. We got to get around other successful people that will push us instead of just leaving us to out there in the open, not to give you anything. I'm not saying that they need to give you anything, but giving you a hand up, not a handout, to show you that to help you nurture yourself. And then the more we continue to build ourselves in that manner, we can push it on to the next generation of kids and the next generation of kids and the next generation of kids, and it will change. But it's only going to have to be people going to stop what they're doing. Look at themselves. Look at, do I get upset when I see somebody else win? Do I get upset when I see somebody else doing something that I'm not even thinking about doing, or am I genuinely happy for them? If you're not, that's the first thing you need to work on. Then you work on yourself. Then you work on building yourself. You work on changing the attitude. Then you work on finding that niche. That's why I said it's very important out there, men and women. If you ever see this stream, if you're thinking about content creation, don't it's good to know people out here on the panels and in the live streams. It's good to get to know people and connect, but you have to know what your niche is. You have to know that is pretty much your gift, what you like to do. Find it, nurture it, and build it, and then you continue to build on it like that.
Look, I feel like I was just inspired.
That's what I wanted. I want to do something different. I do like to troll. I am a level 2 or level 3 apprentice troll, trying to get my black belt. But
No.
you have to be serious. You have to be serious about this. You can't get stuck off in that junk. You can't get stuck off in that drama. Uh, just realize that it's going to take us individuals. We can't sit here and wait on a hero to save us. That is what we've been waiting on for years. We've been waiting on the next Jesse Jackson. We wouldn't waiting on the next Martin Luther King, the next Malcolm X to come save us out of every situation. The next Democrat, the next Republican to come and grab us by the hand and give us everything we need to take us to the promised land. But they're not coming. They're
Mhm.
not coming because we can't wait on none of them. We got to do everything. We got to do this stuff ourselves. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only real way. But 45 minutes and 33, 34, 35 seconds, I think I am going to be done.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it anytime I'm up here. You guys are welcome. Make sure you send people to the channel. Make sure you notify people of my live stream. I appreciate it. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Make sure you watch this live stream and get on my channel and watch some of my catalog of wonderful videos. I appreciate the support. Until next time, everybody. Peace.